What's the worst pain you've experienced and what caused it? Radiator blowing a cap and covering me with 220-degree water. Third-degree burns on 30% of my body. Worst instant pain ever experienced. I'm not a professional mechanic, but when I help my friends out, it's the first rule I teach them of never ever. Apart from taking anything metal of their bodies, blocks and jack stands, always let it cool down before working on a car. My brother also learned the hard way. Luckily he put his shirt on top of the cap. As it shot out, it soaked the majority of coolant that would have hit his face, only got it on his chest and stomach. Let the engine cool down before you even touch anything under pressure. I've been at this for years. Was a freak thing. I build custom ATVs for deep mud and water. We move radiators to top of the rack. Breaking in a new motor and was doing heat cycles and thermostat stuck and built up a lot of pressure and the cap just couldn't hold it. Did this 1,000 times and just happened to go south this time. Freak accident. But yes, you are correct about what you have said and the advice you have given. A stomach ulcer burst and blood escaped into my stomach and bowels. After few hours of surgery, the cramps in my stomach made me yell out loud. It was uncontrollable for 2 days, like glass slicing me up internally. My stepson died of this. Happened in the middle of the night and his mother didn't take him to the ER. He went septic and died next day. God, so sorry. I was lucky my Apple Watch alerted my heart rate going crazy. Took to hospital and sat for hours while they did tests, then suddenly started vomiting blood like John heard an alien. I was sure I was dying. 20 minutes later I'm being gassed before being operated on, and by that stage I was so weak and afraid I just wanted to let go. Mental pain stays with me today. Awful news about your stepson. I was lucky and was in right place at right time, or I'd be gone too, I'm sure of it. I woke up one day tired as f. Couldn't almost see. I stood up to do number 2 and just almost everything went black. Managed to walk to the toilet and sit down. My excrements were black and the entire time I was on the toilet I was just burning up. Never been so hot in my life. Managed to crawl into bed and just fell asleep thinking it would be over when I woke up. Nope. Shit was still there. Called the emergency room and they asked me to come down. Ended up staying in the hospital for a week due to an ulcer in my stomach bleeding. Luckily it wasn't big, so it stopped bleeding by itself. But I did throw up on the table when they showed a camera in my mouth and were like, yeah, we found it, and left the camera there while talking for what felt like minutes. In the end I couldn't control it and just threw up and passed out for a minute. Damn, this happened to me, except I passed out in the shower. Woke up in blood vomit. I live alone and I remember thinking, Valp, this is it. Broken pelvis from a motorcycle accident. I started feeling some pain while reading the comments, but I definitely somatized while reading this one. This post is painful. It wasn't nice to say the least. I blacked out when the accident happened and woke up in the hospital doped up, then went straight to theater. It was the recovery that hurt. Took me 3 months to walk comfortably again. I had constant heavy painkillers for those 3 months. It hurt to just sitting still. That was the worst part. A month of moving anything and it hurting. Can't even shift your neck or lift a hand without tweaking your pelvis. It's all connected, damn it. Then 2 damn years to get back to playing sports, only to fold my ankle sideways into my shin and start another really long recovery. Friggin' stupid body. All fragile and squishy. My left middle finger was bitten down to the bone by an octopus 10 years ago now. Severed 3 to 4 tendons, think they missed one during surgery, an artery, and did 50% nerve damage. I have most use of it today, but I will never be able to straighten out fully the rest of my life. Edit, since many have asked, yes, I was awarded some money, no, I won't share how much. It was an okay amount. I definitely could have gone after much more with how he handled himself, but I just wanted him to pay what he legally owed me. I won the initial hearing and he proceeded to appeal 4 to 5 times, each of which I also won. Total thing took almost 7 years. NSFW/NSFL. This is what my finger looked like a few days after it happened, for those who are into that kind of thing. If you aren't, don't click that link. I'm intrigued to hear how this occurred. I did an AMA about it like 7 years ago now. Made it to the front page for a minute. Dude, I'm surprised they didn't put a pin in your finger to help it heal straight. It's what they did for mine when I cut it off as a kid, though admittedly I was a bit luckier than you, as the guy who performed my surgery was the number 2 hand surgeon in the nation at the time. He was in the area for a few months teaching some classes and heard about my case and jumped on to perform the surgery, even waived his normal fee at time, Found out later this was because he'd seen my x-rays and my tendon had been cut right at the point where they split, and he took the cast because it let him have the opportunity to use his micro tools that he never gets to use due to the rarity of the cut location. Edit. I should also had since it relevant that this process of cutting my finger off was painless, probably cause I cut the nerves as well, but basically I cut it off with a chop saw. When Duck wrapped it up and had my dad take me to the physical therapy for it afterwards. Did hurt like a mofo the first time they took the pin out of my bone and had me start bending it again. To describe the feeling, imagine when your leg gets stiff and then you bend it, like that, but about 1,000x worse because I had bent moved my finger in well over a month. His attitude for wanting to take your case is exactly why he was the number 2 and not some scrub. Obviously very passionate about what he does. That's a really cool story. Cyst rubbing on spinal cord. Edit. The synovial fluid between the vertebrae formed the cyst. The vertebrae were rubbing together and formed a synovial cyst. The cyst was at my lumbar 3, lower back. It rubbed on a large nerve that went down the front of the left leg. Pain was as if I tore my quad. I wish this pain on no one. Surgery resolved issue, but now I have structural issues because they removed part of the vertebrae to avoid rubbing. Life goes on. Sit up straight, folks. Instantly adjusted my posture after reading this. Brown recluse bite on my shin. 010 would not recommend. Holy duck, that's one of my biggest fears and they don't even exist here. Are you okay? All back to normal or some lasting effects? Is the bite itself painful or was it more the aftermath? I didn't feel the bite at all and honestly had no idea what it was because it just itched really badly all day long. Went to sleep at night and woke up damn near screaming because the pain was so bad. Ended up in the ER and was told it was a recluse. It ended up leaving a decent sized scar on me, but other than that no lasting effects. When I was a kid I loved to play in the woods. Velp, of course I got bit by a spider. I'm like 10. And there was a huge velp on the outside of my left thigh. It formed a head. My mom tried to pop it, but the pain was too immense. I let it ride for a couple more days and my legs started to go numb and I couldn't get comfortable. Time to go to the doctor. My dad takes me to a small clinic in Arkansas. The nurse practitioner decides it's a brown recluse bite and opts to drain it. Guess what? No fusing anesthesia. No numbing cream. Just take it. So I'm biting down on my dad's belt while this big old lady is squeezing spoonfuls of green and yellow pus out of my leg. She finally gets it all out and puts a bandage on. For the next few weeks I have to apply ointment to this huge freaking hole in the side of my leg. As I was leaving she told my dad if we had waited another few days my leg probably would have been amputated. Jesus duck, that sounds bad and no anesthesia? Damn, at least you managed to get it taken care of before you needed an amputation. 30 years later and I still have a scar half an inch in diameter on my leg. I still have no idea to this day why they didn't do anything numb it. Possibly because my leg was already going numb they thought I wouldn't feel it? I have no clue. I do know that was an experience that will stay with me for the rest of my life. When they didn't numb it, it could have been because they thought injecting local anesthetic would damage more tissue, because lidocaine with epi could really reduce blood flow. And with such a bad infection they may have wanted to save every bit of your leg that they possibly could, at the expense of you not getting numbed up. But geez, they could have at least done something though. That sounds like a horrible thing to experience, I can't imagine it. When part of my spinal fusion broke, not enough pain meds in the world could stop that. Happened a month after my first surgery. Holy duck, this was my biggest fear when I had spinal fusion surgery. I'm so sorry. Thanks. Is what it is, but it was not fun. Being stabbed in the gut 3 times. Edit. Sorry I couldn't reply to all of you, I was asleep. Thanks for the kind replies, you people are awesome. Holy shit dude, what happened? If you want to share. Drunk crazy guy picked a fight with my friend who suffered from leukemia and stunted his growth and is only 4,11 and this dude was like 6,2, so I was like hell no, he ain't bullying my friend, so I shoved him to get him away from my friend and that's when he pulled out the knife and stab. What a dick. I hope for him, it later was jail. He got tackled to the ground by 3 bouncers and sat on by the largest one until the police came, where he got 4 years. Stupid justice system should have got longer. How TF do you justify literal attempted murder with 4 darn years? That is absolutely ridiculous. I'm glad you're okay now. I hope. Yeah, it happened when I was 19, I'm 32 now, I just have the scars and the memory of it, so I have dealt with it. Women are sometimes put off by the scars, but well, that's not my problem. Any woman put off by scars that you got from defending your sick friend is not a woman worth your time or attention. He wasn't sick at the time, he was all clear. He kicked leukemia's ass because he is a badass. It was just the dude was a giant compared to my 4,11 friend, I'm 5,10 and I felt short next to him. But yeah, you are right, they are not worth my time. Go you and your friend. Those scars prove you're a great person and friend. Smile.